that really all it takes is to be somewhere for 4 years and then call yourself an expert? Oh, but I guess that's kind of how college works, so.
Yeah, you get your degree.
Uh, yep, and it's really just about as useless. Hey guys! Welcome back to Tuesday Dungeons and Dragons!
Whoa.
It is I, Eric, the Dungeon Master, here on Black Tower Stories. So, Adventures of Athoria, we are here on chapter 120 with the Silver Knights of the Mythal. Now, last week, for chapter 119, our group got to settle into their life a little bit, following returning from the Fey Realm of Winter. Some personal errands were done. A couple of your number departed and head to the Colosseum to try and get some fighting action in. It started off really well for one of you, started off really poorly for the other, and ended poorly for both of you. As Kelmac and Yandre were apparently slain by a figure in
Fake news.
yeah, fake news that they were fake news, real events. Yes, they were horribly mangled after a confrontation with an individual in some dark robes that no one really knows what his deal is. But the local guard, finding Adventurers Guild documentation on you guys, notified the guild. Your guild liaison, Maldrazath, reached out to Izal. A whole phone call conversation chain happened, and next thing you know, everyone's aware. Some arrangements were made for the bodies to be taken to the Temple of Barricale. There, Caleb was able to convince Thalgrim, the high priest there, to attempt some resurrection rituals on your two fallen allies, both in an attempt to actually get them back, and second, to figure out what the hell went on, because you guys refused Speak with Dead. So, there's that, I guess. So, as I recall, you guys were resurrecting Yandre first.
That is correct.
Okay. So, Yandre.
Jumping right into it. Okay.
Yeah, jumping right into it.
I will say I would prefer to speak with live than speak with dead. So that's the process we
Yeah,
try
yeah.
to go with.
I can speak with Reggie.
So, Yandre, as your consciousness fades out from the Colosseum, and you find yourself floating through the astral sea, and then soon covered in the dappled sunlight and twilight of the haunted thicket, deep within the amber wood, the dark kind of orange and yellow hues turned over to browns and deep yellows from the lack of sunlight. The air is cold and stagnant, with a thick sort of mist all about. You stand up a bit in a haze, feeling not quite awake. There is a part of you that is just kind of on autopilot, navigating through the forest, while the still barely functioning intellectual part of your brain is trying to slowly piece together what has happened, and it comes to you in pieces. An individual in a dark cloak. Combat. Pain. A little bit of darkness. Rousing the sound of a great roaring. And then darkness again. As you navigate through this somewhat unfamiliar landscape, really only ever seen in your dreams, you become knowledgeable of a distant sound and a small kind of rumbling that you can feel through the earth. As you glance off among the mists ahead of you, you see a long train of individuals, uh, most who are elvish, some wearing armor of different kinds and many lands, traveling at great speed in atop a cavalcade of war horses thundering through the underbrush. The hunt. There's something about it that mesmerizes you. You feel this instinctive draw towards it. As this parade of individuals, mounted warriors, continues to rush past, a horse with no rider breaks and begins to trot its way over to you, stopping about 15-20 feet off. They're waiting expectantly, as if inviting you to come and join the ride.
I mean, I'll move towards the horse.
Okay. So, you move towards the horse. As you do, you feel a little uneasy. That part of your brain that's piecing together what happened beginning to assert more loudly a desire to reject this horse. There's some part of you that wants to mount and continue on and join your fellow riders, but another part wishes you to leave, something else that must be done. You hear a snapping of branches and twigs behind you, and as you turn, a stag stares at you with these kind of dead eyes, part of its pelt covered in blood. It's not a zombie, but still, it would seem as though the stag has taken perhaps some damage, and it stares at you in a way that is unsettling.
Would I recognize this as the stag that I spoke to whenever I did the ritual to speak with Ceranos?
Recognize it is different. There are parts of you that feel a recognition there, and that part of you that's attempting to reject the horse is feeling that kinship, that pull towards this other opportunity. And so right now your brain is kind of, you're fighting off what you believe you should do with what your body is just kind of doing on autopilot. So you feel very disconnected, and it's hard to organize your thoughts in any cohesive way.
So you say that the stag itself is injured, or it appears to be injured.
Yeah, you don't see any wounds, but it does appear to be splattered with blood.
Is it allowing me to approach it, or is it just standing?
Yes, it is staring at you with dead eyes, but intensely at you.
So, I mean, I would assume in this instance, even though there's a longing to go towards the horse, Yandre's propensity to want to help and heal things would probably kick in, and seeing the stag being injured. So he would delay his desire to go towards that horse and start making his way towards the stag that appears to be injured.
Okay. As you kind of move forward, you don't see any injuries with the horse, but just kind of your general medical look over. The horse does appear somewhat emaciated, as if it has been a good long while since it has had any sort of real food.
Horse or the stag?
Stag, you're right. Stag. A different four-legged animal. Full Red's not here.
Do I happen to see any food or anything that would provide its sustenance around?
Not that you can see. This place appears to be relatively barren.
Okay, so I would still approach the stag, appearing that it is emaciated. Um, my natural instinct would be to attempt to like restore something in it. So I would try to reach out and utilize like lesser restoration or some form of healing magic to help at least stave it off for a little bit.
Okay. You go and try and release your divine energy into it, and you feel nothing, as if it doesn't come. The stag just kind of looks down at you, a little sad. There's too many smiles going on that side. I don't want to check. So yes, the stag just looks down towards you, and you feel this voice kind of enter in to your head. That will not work here, child.
And how can I help you?
It is I who am here to help you. There is a part of you that wishes to join the hunt, but our master bids you go. Your task is not yet done.
What must I do?
I can take you back out of the forest, return you to your friends, but I cannot make you return. If you wish to remain here and join the hunt, you may do so.
So I did die.
You are no longer among the living, yes. You stand at the end of the thicket. Where you go from here is up to you. You can join the hunt. You can travel the mists and remain lost forever. But our Lord has made a way for you if you wish. Unfortunately, he is still weak, and I am all the help he could give.
Do you know of the others?
I cannot say of them. They are not of our faith. They do not wander these woods.
There's one that has a particular connection to us. I'm curious if you can at least let me know of him.
Who is it you seek in the mists?
His true name is Darelove. Is he still alive?
You see the stag's gaze kind of break from you as it kind of stares out, looking out into the mist like a deer, scanning for prey. I do not sense this compatriot in the mists. If he has passed beyond the veil of life and death, he did not come here.
Then he doesn't know. There is more for me to do. I've made a promise to keep someone safe, and I can't let him not know that he's being hunted. I think it's time for me to go back.
Very well. The stag kind of turns around a little bit and then kneels down to allow you to sit atop him.
And then I would hop on and look towards the horse and essentially just kind of like wave it off, um, just letting it know that it's not my time yet, but I do expect to see it at some point or another.
Okay. And it whinnies and then bolts off back into the mist to rejoin the long train of warriors. Okay. So, let's see here. Ritual. So the high priest, Thalgrim, brings the mangled corpse of Yandre first into the ritual chamber and sets up the ritual. Uh, and basically, at that point, asks if any of you have ever had this kind of work done before. It starts asking questions as to whether or not Yandere has died before.
Not that I know of. We have done something similar for our friend here, but not for either one of these two.
All right. Well, that's certainly very good. Unfortunately, these things can get a little tricky if the person's been dead multiple times. But if your friend is a cleric, and this is his first time dying, then hopefully his gods will take pity on him and bring him back quite quickly. That being said, a little bit of help would be appreciated. This involves calling out to the spirit and baiting it to return. Especially considering the individual does not know me. They may feel undesiring to return. So if there's something you can do to help strengthen that connection, it would be greatly appreciated.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay. Well, I guess there's really only 3 of you, so up to 3 of you can help out. Does anyone have any idea of what they want to do to try and entice Yandere to return?
Well, for what I'm going to do for both of them is I'm going to do the ritual to try and ease the passage. So I'm going to try and do a religion check with this particular god to try and ease the passage.
Okay, with Barricale?
Yes.
Alright, so you're going to make a direct appeal to Barricale.
Yes.
Okay. And then, what about you, Izal?
I'm going to kneel near Yandre and say a prayer to Eleneth to try to ask for help. To like, hey, kind of need help with the buddy, and this is awkward. Didn't have to do this last time, but he's got a lot of stuff he's got to do, and Reggie's here, and he looks kind of lonely, so we could work together on this. I don't know how to do this part.
Question. So would I be talking to the gods directly, or can this work in terms of like me looking at Yandre's body and like saying something directly to the body?
That's kind of up to you. You could make an appeal directly to a god. You could burn Yandre's favorite incense, sing a song. Anything you can think of to add to the moment that might make it more inviting.
Okay, so I would like to rush around the room and how many doors are in this room? And what's the furniture situation?
Okay, so this is a circular room. There are 8 doors. All of them are closed at this particular point. And it's a central altar with basically kind of a stone bench kind of counter space lining the sections of the walls that don't have doors in them.
Is there items in said room that could be like moved in front of the doors?
Yes, there's a variety. It looks like a lot of offerings. Like people have brought boxes and bags and different kinds of things.
Okay, so
Uh,
I'm going to. Who's the. What's the name of the person in the room?
so
Or
you have the high priest, who's in the process. That's Thalgrim, who's doing that. There's also the priest Mikkel, whom you uh, first met. He's the guy that went over back to the garrison with you to talk to the Lieutenant Toll. But yes, as you go, you can ask Mikkel, and he seems a bit confused by your request to do some feng shui. But then kind of looks around and seeing like the high priest deep in chanting and knowing that he does not want to interrupt that. He goes, "If you think it will help."
I do, so bear with me, but I need to put items blocking these 8 doors, and as I go through, I will be continually wiggling the handles of the doors.
Okay, it takes a little bit of time.
It doesn't because I'm acrobatic.
Okay.
Need bonus
So you're
action
kind of rush around.
dashes.
Oh god, yeah. So you're doing that. Mikkel's looking, going, okay, I don't really understand, but he is like trying to help you place stuff in front of these doors and is like jiggling handles, not really knowing what to do, but just following it. He's like, okay, all right, it's a weird. It must be some weird elf religion thing. Doesn't get it, but whatever. The ways of the elves are mysterious. So, so yes, so you go and do that. So then that would mean Izal and Calum, if you guys wouldn't mind making religion checks.
Yay!
Is it
religion.
me to make a religion check?
Yeah, because I thought you said you wanted to attempt
Yeah, just make
religion
sure I
for
heard
that.
you correctly because I
Okay.
checked out.
Me too. Ah, I have a +5 on religion. I'm so religious. Dirty 20.
That's all that.
I'm an acolyte.
What'd you get?
29.
We're so religious.
Okay.
Our religion is weird though.
Yandre. You and this blood-soaked deer have been traveling through this section of the haunted thicket for a little while now. And you can see little by little more sunlight is starting to poke through the trees a bit, and the color is starting to look a bit more natural. But then you start seeing the light kind of dim a little bit as a distant thunderstorm can be heard. And from what you can tell, there's cracks of thunder straight up. Like it's going to be a bad storm, and you can kind of feel the wind start to whip a little bit. Kind of reminds you somewhat of like what Volred was telling you, like those times like the Dark Hunt had shown up. So it feels a little odd because there is something not natural about this storm.
Are we traveling through spring or winter?
The stag, kind of looking up around. Ah, it appears some are coming to meet us.
Good or bad?
I can't say. These individuals have not been in Fairy before. But I assume they're coming for you.
I don't know how much help I can be. It doesn't appear my magics have followed me here.
Well, all will be as it should be. We're nearly there.
Understood.
A few more minutes pass, and the stag kind of takes a detour, heading through a section, a thicket of trees, until this kind of mausoleum stands in the center of an open clearing. Here you can see numerous kind of stone liths that kind of stand up like dispersed tombstones, but not in any kind of organized place. They're just kind of scattered about. But the stag kind of takes you up, right up towards the door of this mausoleum, which has this dark kind of iron door. And you can see in the center kind of this stag helm head with what looks like rows of horses and armed men epitaph, clear iconography of the Wild Hunt.
Why did you bring me to Ceranos' mausoleum?
This is the door. And then you hear jiggle, 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 jiggle at the handle.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Are they trying to keep me out?
Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
Sorry. I will dismount and hop up and go up to where the door of the mausoleum is. I apologize, but I have to check and see if it's locked.
As you kind of approach the door, the sound of the thunder overhead continues and grows a little louder, and you can kind of hear the echoing of the thunder kind of reverberate from the room beyond and back, and you can start to hear muffled chanting from beyond the other side of the door as well. As you kind of pause to take a moment, you can hear voices flitting about the other side of the door. You can hear jiggle, 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 jiggle.
Before touching the knob there, I will turn back to the stag and just ask, shut up, and just make sure, are you going to be okay?
The stag kind of looks over. I'm an archfey. I'll be just fine.
Great. Well, Yandre will then attempt to open the door.
It is unlocked.
Andre opens the door and pushes through.
Check for traps.
Okay. As you open the door, which in this case is a push door, all of a sudden the kind of longing, confusion, haziness that was over your mind starts to flow backwards. And it's almost like your consciousness comes to the forefront. You open the door, knocking over a series of belongings, and see a circular room filled with a couple of your party members, a couple other individuals that you don't recognize. Some are flitting about, but some are around a central altar, performing what is clearly a ritual of resurrection. As this is happening, Volred, you will actually hear a pot shatter as you kind of turn around and notice like a a small amphora that was kind of wedged up against the door seems to have broken and spilled its contents along the floor. Some relatively pricey looking powder, perhaps incense or herbs or something, though the door itself seems to appear unmoved.
Whoopsie.
Ghost door.
Ghost door! Ghost door!
Do I sense any portals?
You did kind of sense a little something over in that area. More like it's kind of like when you're walking through something and like you catch a whiff of like maybe it's like, did I do the dishes right, or is there some food? But you can't track it. It's like it's there for a second and gone.
I will just look around the room and like say, "It's time to come back, Yandere."
And you can hear this, Yandere.
Uh,
I would also say at this point in time, as you're kind of passing through the door with you, are two of your compatriots, your ghost compatriots, who are now kind of looking, going, "Oh, thank God."
hello, Reggie. Hi, Celeste. Who's at the table next to me? Like my body.
Yeah. So there you'll see Izal, and you'll see Calum. You'll also see some kind of dwarven individual you don't recognize, appears to be a priest of some kind. And then Izal, as you kind of, because you can obviously hear Celeste and Reggie speak, as you kind of just glance over, you see the two spectral forms of Yandrae's compatriots have seem to have been in attendance, and they seem to be with a form of some kind of spiritual energy, almost like a large will-o-wisp that's much less tightly packed.
The hell is that?
And Keandre not remembering that Izal herself can see specters and ghosts at this point.
I forget
Just
sometimes too.
general conversation. Excitedly noticing that Izal kind of sees whatever aspect Jandre is, will like float over by Izal and float around her a couple of times.
This better be a good ghost.
What do you say?
Ghost ball.
What?
I wave at Celeste and Reggie. Hey guys.
And upon hearing like this better be a good ghost, Yandere will then at that point recognize, oh, I should probably get back in the body, and will attempt to float over the body, still not really realizing like how this is supposed to work. Like, is he supposed to just dip down into the body? Is he just like, what is it gonna
Yeah,
be?
it's kind of odd. There's like a magnetism, almost as such as as you get kind of close, you feel the pull more and more. So the closer you get, the harder it is to pull away. Um, it's almost like an event horizon, where you feel like if you get just a little bit closer, you might get sucked into the body.
Well, Yandere will just let it happen.
Okay. So you kind of watch as the ghost ball kind of spreads out into mist and then just kind of begins to cover the body and get absorbed by it, disappear. You're not entirely sure. And as you reach the end of this hour-long ritual, the chanting starts to change a little bit. Yandere, as you enter the body, like your consciousness begins to recede a little bit more into that darkness. And you become it's a very odd sensation. It's almost kind of like you can feel prickliness on your skin, but you can't but you have no control over your body. And you guys watch as the magic begins to finish, the wounds start to close up. And then lightning begins to appear from the high priest's fingers. And then all at once, this large arc of white lightning reaches out, hits Yandre's body. And then, yeah, it feels, Yandere, all of a sudden like you got struck by electricity. Every single nerve in your body is suddenly on fire. Your consciousness rocks forward, and all you can do is gasp out in pain and searching for breath, which is how the rest of your party members see you suddenly come to consciousness.
I will point out, even in that, knowing that Izal was next to me, I would attempt to like reach out and grab Izal's hand, not like her arm or hand or whatever.
Yep, just kind of flail out there.
Yep.
I freeze. I'm like, I want to hug you, but you got the crap kicked out
Ghost
of you.
mist.
I was like, Andre.
And just, I mean, at this point, I'm sure it's taking a long time for me to even understand the capacity of like having to refill the air in my lungs and breathe and all that stuff. So I'm not able to necessarily formulate words, but like the excitement is still there in Yandre's face to be able to see you guys, but he just can't articulate it at this point.
I need you to breathe.
He's
Out.
struggling.
Out. You already breathed in. You got out now.
And then there's not a like calm or sober like breath out. It's like it's still a struggle to breathe in and out, but he is gaining pace on regular breaths.
Kind of hyperventilating, trying to regulate your breathing a little bit.
Once the hyperventilating calms down a little bit, Caleb will run and give him a hug.
I will be circling the room, moving the furniture back into place.
Yep, and Mickle's over there like he's like trying to sweep up the incense, you know, before the high priest figures it out and is like
That was
trying
a
to
dead
dump
body.
it into
Those
another.
are ashes.
Yeah,
Someone
hastily
check the
trying to
roof.
clean up because he's like, it's very obvious he doesn't want the high priest to see it.
And then as like Yandere begins to calm down with just the labored breathing, he starts to mutter like certain words. It's like shade, shade, hunted, red. Just like he's trying to like convey like that was the
When,
last
as
thing.
soon as the word shade comes out of Andre's mouth, we already know. Red figured it out. Shade of Prevail has come to assess. We'll
Safe.
tell you more. But we're safe for now.
With that, the high priest is just kind of done. He's taking a drink or whatever, trying to get ready for the next one. You hear go, Shade of Cavail. He's kind of looking around, going, "What the hell did you guys get me drug into?" He's
You're
got
being
his
paid finally for this.
Aye, and if the shades of Cavail come and try and kill me for intervening,
Then I will make sure that they don't walk away.
Yeah, they gotta kill us first, and I mean,
aye, that's nice and all to say that you're going to get revenge on me if the shades of Cavail kill me, but
what?
I'd just as soon rather not die in the first place.
Yandere's just gonna. I'm assuming this is the altar. Yandere's just gonna roll off the altar.
I help you down.
While I understand that, we have another body to bring the soul back to. And I will motion for Kelmec's body to be brought up.
Okay. They have to call in a couple extra priests for that because he's a big cat. But yes.
What happened? What did he look like? How tall was he? What was his weapons? We can talk about this later. I'm sorry. I'm asking a lot of questions, and the guards weren't a lot of help. So, sorry.
Yeah.
It's not even like
Lieutenant Toll is gonna look over and just kind of get like, the dude's been dead maybe a couple hours, man. I mean, come on.
but in that, whenever Caleb says like you have to get another body up, he'll look over and he'll see that Kelmac is also kind of being escorted onto this altar to be revived.
I will help move Kelmac.
I just saw all those freaking gifts all at once, and it's like, oh my
Don't-
god, you guys
Don't
are
read the words
worst.
that we're putting in there.
I just saw the okay.
Just look at the
oh my
pictures.
God.
Just look at the funny pictures. Ha 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 ha.
I don't even want to look at the pictures. You guys are horrible.
We're hilarious.
We're not.
Yeah.
We are very supportive of our friends, okay?
Yeah, at least 4 of us are. Look at that. It just fell over.
Anyway, so you guys heft Kelmac up on top of the altar, and then set up for round 2. And this is going on. The high priest is like, he's getting reset up. He's like, how did I? I'm gonna be pretty much tapped out once we're done with this, so it'll be a good evening for me, I guess. I'll have to head over to the Temple of Amata. Get me one of those nice, warm spa baths.
Well, I definitely appreciate you doing this.
What's Amata?
Mm-hmm. So, second ritual.
I don't want to be resurrected now.
No one ever answers me when I ask what's Amata.
City.
Okay, so you want me to just say it automatically fails?
No,
And I'll wait for my promise when I'm trying to help with this ritual to try to convince you to come back to life.
Okay.
It's very enticing.
So, Kelmac. You lay bleeding. Your strength leaving you. And suddenly finding it very difficult to stay awake. Your adrenaline seeks to keep the body moving. But soon enough, even that's not enough. And you start to lose feeling in your extremities. Your mind gets foggy. And you're just trying to hold on to the last vestiges of your strength as you see the robed man who cut both you and Yandere down, casually fleeing the scene. Heavily wounded, but still alive. As you take a moment to rest, to hold on as long as you can, your thoughts start to drift elsewhere. All the things, the questions of your life that you were left unanswered. You think about your time in the Sunbringers, your mysterious awakening to this paladin's power, the fact that you have no idea still where it comes from. You know only that you have sought to use it for the good and protection of your friends. And as far as you can tell, at least this time, you have failed. Now, as your body continues to mull over these things, you become aware that you are no longer laying down. You are walking. You can feel the crunch of dried grass beneath your feet. As you kind of reach out with your hands, you can feel stalks of amber wave and pale yellow sweep through. As you open your eyes, you see a vast grassland, sparsely populated with trees. Tall grass up to even your waist, of some kind of oat or wheat or barley, you're not entirely sure. And in the far distance, you can see a massive tree. Seems to be several different pieces of trunk together, all kind of twisting like a rope, towering up into the sky and then fanning out. You see birds, you see other animals. Over off to the side, you can see a large section of rock where it appears a small group of warriors, some tabaxi, see a Leonin, one even appears to be human, are sitting about, have their swords cast to the side, and seem to just be having a conversation. You don't seem to have any interest really in what they say, but at the same time, you feel nostalgic in a way. What would you like to do?
Uh, the I recognize this as as other people tell their afterlives, usually some the bleak black and grays of the ethereal realm, and I'm sure the Fey folk have something of the same effect. I recognize this as the afterlife of my people and all who, uh, in their passing, cast off their worries and uh, they fight for so long and have finally come to a place to relax. And as much as I would love to be able to cast aside the mithril plate and valor heart and scale render, I need to get back because I don't know if that man would be able to recover in time to possibly assail Calum, Volred, if he even tried after his fight with me to get Izal, he would be sorely disappointed in that fight. So I will start walking towards the tree, and if any of the warriors like look to me and are like, "Where are you going? You're supposed to be joining us. Your fight's over. You don't need to anymore." I'll I'll give them a friendly wave and grip my pommel and give them a big salute. And if they ask me, "Where are you going?" It's time to relax, have a drink, have a laugh, maybe even throw some dice. I tell them that my fight's not done. Uh, my will's not done. And I will continue on towards the massive tree.
Okay. As you approach the massive tree, uh, you see it. Before it lies a ring of stones. the entrance of which is flanked by two individuals. They look almost kind of leonine, but they bear these long, kind of flowing white robes, overtopped with golden armor. And their eyes are gold and shine with kind of this brilliant light. And both of them kind of carry these kind of very large bronze great swords. As you kind of approach even further, one of them just kind of looks at you. Oh, another who has come to the Beastlands. Congratulations, warrior. You are now home.
Though this is destined to be my home, Great One, it cannot be my home now.
Your days in the mortal plane are gone. You have served your friends and house well. Now it is time to rest.
I cannot. And with just a big inhale and like bringing the feelings of failure and disappointment in myself, bringing forward the memories of my first adventuring party and failing them, and then failing Yandere, and not being there to try to help him return or even protect my other friends. It's both of like bottomless sadness, but beneath it a spark of anger and rage waiting to be fed. You no. I have failed. I cannot come here knowing that I have not been able to keep to my words, to keep to my promises laid upon my own soul. I cannot shed these doubts and worries that I can do nothing more, because I must be able to do more. My soul lives, and there's a body that can always be repaired.
You worry too much. Come, let us rest a while. I will hear what you have to say. But if you wish to return, then you may well be doomed to walk the earth.
I'll go and sit on nearby stumps or flattened stones that have been shaped into some place to sit and relax and try to let myself have a moment of loss of tension, to just try to relax for 1 second.
Okay. in with that. Um, this large figure kind of goes, clasps your shoulders a little bit, goes, kind of sits next to you, and goes, "Yes, come, brother. Let Kushvata hear what you have to say, and unpack your burdens." So, this point in time, the ritual continues on. Um, Kelmac is in the process, it seems, of being revived. And yeah, so who all is going to help out in the resurrection? And
And
what are you
what
guys going to do?
can I help out? Like, am I like how like what is
If
my
you, that's a good question, because what
Grab
was
him
this?
by the
Raised dead?
collar. So you come back to life. You owe me, bitch.
I'm going to assist on this one.
Here's the rattle of dice coming from the realms beyond. Just don't you do it!
Go get him, Reggie.
Go get his ass.
Send the ghost gangsters.
Pokes out from the top of the tree. Hey yo, this man gambling.
Yeah. So basically, Andre, you came back at 1 hit point. You also have a -4 penalty to attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. And that will reduce by 1 each time you take a long rest. So you got some res sickness.
So whatever skill check you do is at disadvantage.
I'm just gonna say the DM didn't say all that, but you I'm kidding.
Well, it's a -4 penalty, which
Oh,
is like
-4. All right.
which is like worse than disadvantage, really. I guess.
Statistically.
Statistically.
Oh hey, I rolled good. What's my modifier? 1? No, it's -3 now. Oh.
So I guess I'll help then.
I would like to be a detriment. Can I be a detriment to his resurrection?
You absolutely can.
No. I'll help
So-
him.
Who's doing it?
Well, what Caleb's going to do is he's going to do something a little bit different, and what he's going to do is he's going to channel a 5th level spell into essentially like a ball of energy, and try and use that as a beacon for Kelmac to follow to come back to his body. And it's going to, and as this goes on, he's going to channel more energy into it. Using a 5th, 6th, and 7th level spell.
Okay, you dropping threads on this, or spells. Okay.
I was like, well, damn, what else do we have to do? He's dropping 5th level, a 6th level, a 7th. This is more than the freaking guys casting.
Yeah, but I figure I would use an Arcana check for this because I'm using memory.
Yep.
I would like to also I like to talk to dead bodies.
You
I
would
feel
like to rage?
I feel like it helps the dead bodies calm their emotions. As a ghost whisperer myself, I feel like I could really connect to the spirit. As I stab him in the chest. Just try to connect with him.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach the body and kind of lean down and say, I hope you can hear me right now. It seems that you died with honor. But I bet you don't see it that way. I bet that you're being hard on yourself, thinking that you're a failure and that you died in vain. But I'm here to tell you that you deserve to be rewarded and celebrated. You deserve a drink. and I open up my bag and find a glass and put it in his hand, and I take out my thing of cognac and pour half of it with cognac, and then I take my other flask of water and pour the other half of water and say, I made your favorite drink. I hope you could come back and enjoy this with me. I'll be waiting.
Get back, high priest goes down. Well, that's his favorite drink.
Yeah, we're not gonna judge him right now. He has
Oh, yeah.
problems.
Yeah, how do you talk stuff like that? Okay. Well, Yandre is going to scrawl over, like hurt. Just basically like, oh, no.
A piece. Give me a piece.
Yeah, it's like he's all sitting there holding a beer, or like, yeah, no, Yandre's
I'm
sitting there
already
holding a beer and
drinking.
goes,
What the fuck?
He's all carry me over there. Hold me.
So Yandre will take a coin out and place it on Kelmek's chest and essentially begin to cast Raise Dead through the coin and help by like trying to bolster some of the resurrection magics that the priest is using. He'll simply just say, you still owe me your word, friend. It is not yours to give into the ether. And he'll just continue to help any way that he can by bolstering the resurrection magic.
Okay, so are you actually casting Raise Dead?
And that's the closest thing. That's the closest thing
Or
I.
you just want to like give up a 5th level spell slot? Or
I don't want to fuck up the resurrection. I will give up
okay.
a 5th level spell slot.
Accidentally raises me as a zombie before the resurrection goes off. Just
That's
like
animate dead.
It's anime dead.
So
And
if Raise Dead doesn't work, that'll be the
There's
next
so
step.
many spell slots being dumped on this as all of a sudden it's like the heavenly bodies come down and be like, all right, sorry, dude, I gotta take you back. No, I want to stay here. Sorry, dude, I got
5
2
gods
5th level
show
spell
up.
slots. Like it's like there are
listen,
3 5th level spell slots that went into this, man. They pay for priority delivery.
Amazon
3
Prime.
levels, a 6th, and a 7th. Listen, they're messing with the weave all kinds to bring you back. You gotta go.
Yep.
yeah, so I will utilize the 5th level spell slot to help bring it back.
Okay, everyone dropping spell slots.
Let me prepare my spell slots here while I get ready for it. I will help.
What's on Yandre?
I will take out my Golden Forge Battle Axe, and I'm going to place it on his, not because Yandre put like it was a coin on his chest, right?
A coin, a sun coin, the elven gold.
I'm going to take the hands that I'm going to take Kelmac's hands, one of them still having my holy symbol that I put on there before, kind of wrap them both around the battle axe, and I'm going to whisper down to him like, Kelmac, you tall bastard. You're not allowed to die. You know you're not. Because you're a member of the Golden Forge, and I'm not allowed to let you die either. It's kind of a family ordeal, and we're not allowed to let family die. So I pull out my tome that has notes in it from Kelder, and I'm like, yeah, there's not a lot of magic in the words, but sometimes they help. And I will recite 3 prayers from Kelder's spell book that he had for some of his spells for it. Like, where life there is death, where death there is life, the law of order, with her power I defy, I cast with you, revivify. And the other prayer that she will say is, my spells are bound in this hour. I call upon you with your power. Come forth now, heal my friend, and I will protect them to no end. And I will just pray as well as I close the book.
River walk up from out of nowhere. Is that Kelder's book?
What are you doing here?
Okay. So, let's see here. The spell slot, all that stuff good to go. All right. So let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna roll this in D20 or D&D Beyond, so that way we have record of it. Yeah, did. Let's see here. Deal. 1d20. Roll to everyone. Okay. So, Kelmac, as you sit for what feels like a long time, talking with this individual, Kushvata, whom you can learn is one of so he's an Archon, not a Leonin, and part of his job is to help bring people into the Beastlands to begin, the next part of life. You can start to hear the distant roaring of thunder, and the air starts to get a little bit of an ozone smell. And as your conversation starts getting kind of rained out a little bit, some rain begins to kind of fall. Kushvata is like, "Oh, this is quite unusual. Come, let us take shade under the rock." And kind of leads you underneath a section of an overhang of rock where some other individuals have kind of started to gather, having conversations, lighting a bonfire, just kind of continuing to speak and have fun whilst everything begins to rain. And then you see movement out in the distance. And you kind of watch as upon a piece of that stone pillar, a rather large raven begins to sit at the end and begin to caw at you. You are muted. Dead men tell no tales.
At this point, Kelmac has the shape and like the wariness of someone who they've tried to carry the world, and they're finally like they can't. They're just trying to come to terms with all the stress, all the responsibility they've tried to take on themselves, and but he knows that that his friends need him. And then with the raven's caw, he'll like sit like bolt upright, like something like he himself was struck with lightning, and just look to the raven and just like not even paying mind to the other people that have taken shelter, and just, why is that here?
As you're kind of call out to that, Kushvata kind of breaks from talking with the others and goes, "What do you mean?" And then kind of glances out, kind of spots the raven. Goes, and he kind of stands and goes to walk to the end. He goes, "Shoo, you do not belong here. This is not your world. Leave him be." But the raven continues to caw persistently.
And Kelmac will get up and step out into the rain from underneath the rock, uh, and just is it like thundering or is it just like a light rain?
Yeah. No, thundering, full on storm. You're getting
He'll just
drenched, and oddly, you don't seem to care.
yeah. I'm paying no mind to the water and the weather. Um, he'll just start shouting like, "Why are you here? You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the sadness I've felt. Watching my friends slain in front of me, unable to do anything," and just like roaring even over the thunder, and sometimes like at the same volume that it would carry with it, in just like a sorrowful, angry, like shredding of bonds. Like he's bound himself up with his inability to do what he believes he should be able to do, and like standing upright, chest up, legs full, and he'll just start like marching towards the tree, towards the raven.
Okay. As that happened, the raven suddenly rests loose of its perch, glides down towards you at incredible speed, and begins and collides with you. But instead of a physical object, you feel the raven almost go through you. In an instant, images begin to flash before your mind. Fields of the dead, screaming in agony. An ascension to light. Clouds with red rolling lightning. An image of an elven woman with dark hair by the river as two men approach her. Another image of a golden dragonborn kind of staring, roaring out ferociously while being attacked by a group of hobgoblins. You can feel every single puncture of the weapons into the body and that same expiration of life. In a quick time lapse, you watch as from that spot a large tree begins to grow. You see a group of individuals you don't really recognize, faces kind of muddled, begin to lay to rest the corpse of a small friend, perhaps a child, halfling, you're unsure. And at the same time, you feel catabasis, as if a release of all that has been pent up goes. And pain and resentment and hatred is replaced by love and longing and the sorrow of farewell. As your breath catches, you stare around as the crow has now flitted opposite and now sits at the corner of that large piece of stone outcropping. The now frantic Kushvata below him, shooing, "Shoo! Shoo, bad spirit! You do not belong here!" The raven kind of glances down again, heavy caw, and this time releases and begins to sail back off into the storm, back the way you came, towards a distant tree line.
Kelmac will breathe deeply the smell of dust and water, that familiar. It's a nice smell of of a light rain on a dusty plain, and he'll drop to his knees, feel the earth, look around, look at the stone in a sort of longing, please wait for me, look to the tree, and look down and like shakily, like he's been beaten down to one knee, leg up, and then in a shift, rise up to his full height and look to Kushvata. My friend, I hope you will welcome me again when it's time to come home. But now I must return and make everything right. And he will, in a full, sprint, just start dashing through the mud, the grass towards the distant tree line.
Okay. As you make your way,
as he hits a full stride.
yeah. As you kind of make your way, heading back towards that tree line, not too long later, you find the place where you had left Valorhart just kind of sticking in the ground, grabbing it quickly as you rush. You begin to look sight of the raven, which you seem to have lost. And then all of a sudden, it kind of floats from behind you, continuing to lead you on. A rush through the forest.
Continue.
Oh my God, Yandere is dead again, guys. And then
What's that bubble spell?
yeah, you're rushing through the forest, and then next thing you know, you bust out the other side, looking at this kind of ocean, this distant stars that seem to twinkle brightly. You see nebula, and it kind of is reflected almost perfectly on the surface of the water as the tide just kind of keeps coming and rolling in. A calm as you kind of look over and see like a large kind of straw boat with a raven perched along the top.
Is it still a giant raven, or is it a
giant? I mean, it's pretty big for a raven, but it's not. It wouldn't be like a very large creature.
There's a mood change. This whole, before the revelations came, there was sorrow and disappointment and weight. But the visions brought forth a change in Kelmac. He's happy, he's chipper, he's ready to go, and he feels a undepletable amount of stamina that he could run forever and go forever to get back to his friends. Walking over to the straw boat, he'll put forward his hand, one finger extended to try to pet the raven and say thank you. I think I do not be insulted, but I hope you're one of my ancestors. You are a familiar of my ancestor's companion, Noctavian. He helped him through many trials. And thank you for helping me in this one. And I'll go and I'll launch the boat and hop in and launch it towards where a nebula meets the horizon. And is there a paddle?
Yep, there is a paddle. So you head off. As you do, the raven kind of releases and kind of sails back to shore. You get through the initial breakwater and then glance back as you see this unfamiliar individual, kind of male elf with pale skin and kind of faint tattoos, with this kind of long black and purple robe, just kind of staring out at you from the shoreline. And there's a brief moment where he just kind of turns his head, begins to walk off, and then enters back into the forest, fading into the mist, not to be seen again. As you continue to paddle furiously, you almost kind of get, there's a moment where it's like, man, is this what Izal feels like when she's raging? Because you're just like rage paddling, and
Left,
at a certain
right,
point, like your
right.
muscles are starting to scream, they're so angry, but you just keep paddling and just keep paddling. And there is a part where you almost just kind of have to reach out and roar in defiance at this water, this ocean that keeps you from your friends. As you do, the pain in your muscles suddenly flares up to life. And that pain is a mixture of both anger and defiance and also exhaustion. Um, as uh, the rest of your party members now in this chamber have to cover their ears as all at once your body jolts into consciousness, belting out a roar that threatens to break their eardrums. As the roar subsides and you let your body relax, you find hard purchase on your back, and you are no longer standing, but lying on a bed of stone in a dim chamber.
I'm staring at the ceiling. I'm like, the spiritual exhaustion is transformed to physical exhaustion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are pretty exhausted. Like you got one hit point, your body is exhausted. Um, your mind and body and spirit are stretched thin. It feels like, um, yeah. Not to mention all the muscle soreness from how hard you had fought. Um, Even though the wounds seem to be healed as you go to move, there's still some stiffness and some pain in spots where you knew there were wounds beforehand. And then your consciousness starts picking up the pieces again. And bits of the memory of like the last few minutes or of your consciousness before you died begin flooding back. And yeah, yeah, you are all at once confused and present at the same time.
I
Where
jumped forward
is?
and hugged Kelmac.
Oh, oh, oh,
You're so fucking
hello,
loud.
Izal.
Why are you so loud? You just died.
Oh, oh, don't make me laugh. Oh, let me. And just like, I'll like hold the axe with one hand and try to like sit up and just. I think this belongs to you, but thank you.
Yeah, I could use it.
But like I'll hand the axe over, but uh like instinctively I'll keep the religious symbol in my hand. Is everyone else? And I'll like go to scan for anyone else in the room, and I'll see Calum, Volred, Yandre.
Yeah, everyone's in attendance. Yandre looks like shit, but
But alive.
is alive, but alive. And I guess at this point, if there's healing or whatever that you guys would have wanted to be done, because maybe you guys don't want Yandre running around at one hit point.
That's
But
what short rests are for.
oh, I guess that's a good point, Yandre. You're able to take a short rest in that time if you'd like.
So, how was it?
It was Trying. But there were forces that helped me that I did not think would come back to see my family again.
So, I got you. I already asked Yandre, but he also just got back to life, so I'll wait to ask the questions.
I'm assuming that was a shade, seeing as how he was undead and incredibly lethal.
He was. He told me right before he killed me.
Yes, and Lieutenant Toll goes, yes, your friends have shared quite a bit of interesting information. At this point in time, I think it's best for us to head back to the garrison to have a conversation.
I will do my best at how tired I am to grab the four of them in an arms around and lock the fingers and lift
A giant cat hug.
Yeah, and lift them.
Ah, the wounds, the wounds, the wounds.
Oh,
My face is just in the stomach of everybody. It's very uncomfortable. Woo! Put me down, please.
and I'll put everyone down, so that they're all their feet reach before I release.
Is all you'll see Celeste and Reggie joining in on the outside of the.
Go stack.
I'll lightly clasp Yandere on the shoulder. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being able to save you. I will do better next time.
I walked myself into a predicament. You weren't near, and that's not your fault. But thank you.
Thank you, Yandere. And I'll bring you into a single hug, fully around.
Again, ow.
Gentle, not squeezing, but just a true apology, and you've already given forgiveness, but it's just looking for the return hug.
Yandere will lightly pat you on the back and stuff, just in general.
And I'll sit back down on the stone table. Okay. If you could give me a minute, this is the first time I've come back from the dead. So I will need a few. Am I still wearing my armor?
Yes,
You
and you
are.
reek of death. I reek of death. I don't know how I'm going to get the smell out of my nose.
Burn sage, that's how everyone does it.
Luckily, your armor's mithril.
Luckily.
I mean, I can help carry you over there if you need a helping hand to move. But I kind of want to go kill the thing that attacks you guys. So any information I can get as soon as possible would be great.
Very much so, because I would like to see him buried.
I mean, I'll give him a brief description of what I saw. I'm pretty sure he was a medium-sized guy. little hazy on the actual description because I just died. Uh, but in best recall, just kind of like he seemed like a regular person whenever he killed me. Um, Probably like medium size, like brown hair with streaks of gray, and then about medium sized person, medium build. The only thing that really stood out to Yandre at that point in time was his weapon and how it changed shape. So it was really that's the only thing that Yandre can really remember because
Yeah,
everything happened pretty quickly.
because it's like a standard rogue assassin type description. It's like, yeah, until we drew a great axe. It's like, wasn't expecting that. Didn't know where he was keeping that, but
Ian,
yeah.
would Caleb know of a weapon that is able to change shape, such as that, or magic that would create that ability?
Mm, you can roll an Arcana check.
Uh, 24.
Okay.
That's a bad
Um,
roll, Caleb. What happened?
Rolled an 8.
Yeah, it wasn't a 30.
I changed my
So
intro for you.
all right. So thinking about it, go certainly not a common enchantment. Um, and based on what described, it's like it's kind of weird because the information they gave you seems like it can change from a great axe to a battle axe, and then there appear to be different properties of each. Um, you're thinking that maybe it's kind of like that incarnamancy stuff that you've kind of done, where it's like the axe itself is like a summoned object, similar to like the spell that you learned from that incarnamancer, or perhaps like a spiritual weapon type situation. Um, so, or it might be a unique property of the weapon itself.
So,
Um,
if it is a weapon such as like warlocks have and they summoned, if they don't have it summoned, a locate object spell won't work there.
correct.
Okay, and if it's like the conjuration spell that they have, that would also be a negatory. So
Yeah.
unless it's an actual weapon enchantment, did he have it in the scabbard next to him or anything like that?
From what they were able to tell you, it's almost as if he reached out and pulled it out of nothing.
Okay.
Surely he didn't seem to have the weapon on him at the start of the combat.
Okay.
Be a weird red flag. Be a yellow flag. Like, oh, rogue. Why the axe, though? Aesthetics.
Not a rogue. Not a rogue!
So at that point, I've had nothing at the current moment. I was going to try to locate object spell, but
Come on, let's go to the garrison so we can get the report filed so I can go out there and murder this thing.
So the large question I would say here is like for Kelmac and Yandre, to what extent are you guys going to explain details? And since you guys have obviously mentioned the Shades of Cavail on multiple times, obviously you're going to be questioned on that. So, to what extent are you guys going to answer those lines of inquiry?
one thing I would like to say beforehand, I know word of mouth has the possibility of spreading this anyways, but when we're going to the garrison, I'm going to cast invisibility on both Kelmac and Yandre. So it'll just be me, Azal, and Volred walking. And when we're going back to the house afterwards, it's going to be just us three with them to invisible as well. For appearance sake, at least to see if it would change in the outcome of an attack.
Yeah.
So,
Neat.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like OOC, would it be best to like go somewhere else to like get a long rest in, like maybe like back to our other place?
We're not getting a long rest. We're having to go to the garrison to be questioned about the shade
After
of
that,
that.
because
After that, we
Galen's
can go.
already talking about going back to the house, so that's what I'm just kind of saying now. Like, you know,
I would figure we'd go to the house, then teleport.
okay,
Izal wants to go fight the thing now. It wants to go hunt down a bunch of people in the city, so that might take some convincing. Because I might go murder some innocent people if I don't get information.
That's understandable. We shall cross that bridge when we get to the house.
I'm gonna burn that
That
bridge.
But DM, to answer your question, the intention for Yandere is to mention that the person advised them that they were a shade of Cavale right before they died, um, and who they were after, but no additional history prior to this encounter in the middle of combat.
Yeah. So basically, this guy, he attacked me. This is what happened. He told me he was a Shade of Cavale, and he wanted to kill some dude named Durla.
Yes.
Okay. Any information you're giving in addition to that, Kelmac?
Uh, I will let the lieutenant know that he is in like I don't know if I can put enough emphasis on it that he is incredibly lethal. I did my best against him and like towed the line. If he's gonna use guards to hunt him down, he may want to look at maybe the Athenium for backup,
Yeah.
or a local, or like a high-ranking paladin chapter.
Yeah, the lieutenant will tell you it's like based on the information they've gotten so far, it seems like they're probably going to have to get the Rune Knights involved, and probably we'll have to speak to the Seers Guild to see if they can do some other divination, and probably some of the holy orders in town, and that he does seem to ask a lot of questions, you Kelmac, about your particular experience and your skill set and stuff. Um, Izal and Yandere would both kind of glean from that, and actually probably you too, given your military background. Seems like he's trying to build a profile of like, based on how hard you say he is the hurt and his abilities, see if he can build some kind of profile of like just how powerful is this dude. Um, and seems to be basing it a little bit off your combined abilities, you and Yandere's, to get some kind of a baseline. But with that, he sits and goes, well, I suppose if this is indeed a shade of Cavale, this changes things. It hasn't been a long time since we've heard any sort of rumorings about them. Most everything that comes up with their name ends up being an issue with the Assassin's Guild. So it's been a number of decades since we've actually had any sort of confirmed interaction with the Shade. They're a small number as far as we can tell. Which brings me, I suppose, to the most important question. Who is this Derlov, and what is your connection to him?
Who are you asking? Like, who are you asking specifically?
He's asking the group, and
'Cause I'm
yeah,
about
you
to
guys
tell
can
the
tell
truth,
the
so someone else should talk.
Okay, so
Because I don't want to be here right now.
he is an individual that we used to work with. He has since passed away. Um, I don't know why these individuals are still chasing after us. I'll give him a brief description of Love's family and what happened, and that he ended up getting caught up in all that. Because I don't remember all of that shit off the top of my head. But I can do a brief description of that.
You're muted.
if
Was
you
I
wouldn't mind
muted for
rolling
all
me a
of that?
deception check.
Can I help him?
Sorry, he's talking to
Okay.
me. I was asking you, and I was muted.
He was very
Okay.
silent.
Can I
whisper.
help him with deception? I am proficient in it.
So
By
you want
corroborating
to...
your story with
Yeah, I was just saying he was a contract. He was one of our guild contracts to help out, and because of the fact that
So you're trying to clarify certain elements of the story to preempt further questioning?
yes.
That makes sense? Okay. You're trying to fey it up.
I don't like. It's not deception per se. It's just a finagling of words to allow.
Oh, I know. It's the manipulation of the conversation.
Do I get
But-
advantage?
Yes, you can have advantage.
14.
14. See, based on... Okay. As you guys kind of sit there and watch, you can see Lieutenant Toll, his eyes kind of narrow just a little bit. Yandere, with your passive insight, you can tell this guy... So he's kind of picking out that, like, he can sense that there's some omissions here, but he can't... It's kind of obvious that he's not entirely... He doesn't have, like, a trail exactly. He just gets a rough kind of sense that what you're saying is that you're not necessarily lying, but it's not the whole truth either. So with that, the lieutenant just kind of takes a moment, takes a breath. I want to be very clear here that the guard is not, or at least I am not, an inquisitor. I understand that many adventurers come from complicated pasts, and it is not my intention to dig any deeper into your personal lives. That being said, if there is information that we need to have in order to, for one, handle this case, or even just to ensure that other individuals don't meet a gruesome fate, I would encourage you to be forward. If this individual that you are familiar with, Derlov, is in fact alive and in need of our protection, we are certainly willing to give it. If you withhold information, and the withholding of that information leads to the death or injury of other civilians, or prevents us from completing our investigation, and we find out about it, that's a very serious crime. So, I would ask, is there anything you have not told me that you feel I should know regarding this circumstance?
OOC, did we tell him that, like, in our adventuring, we interfered with a Shade's contract?
No.
Not
only told them about-
necessarily.
We only
As
told
I
them about the
understand,
fact that,
essentially, so just as a knowledge check, so
Okay.
that way you guys can check my understanding of what you've told him as well. Is the sense of what I got is, you guys said, hey, we ran into this other adventure guy at some point, and his name was Durlov. He traveled with us for a little bit of time. His family is from over in the Free Cities. And the Shades of Convale were after him for some reason. And at some point in time, he left our party to go handle personal shit, and has since died, along with his family. Or at least as far as we know. So that is kind of my understanding of what you have told him.
Once he finished talking, DeAndre will pick up on the fact that he said something that we should know. And knowing that there was a contract in the Free Cities to not mention, like, I don't know specifically, but I know that there was some hidden contract about details that can't be provided to certain people in certain places. In good conscience, Yandere says, no.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing else we can legally just.
Yeah, there's
It
nothing.
is.
I was like,
I
there's
didn't-
genuinely nothing else that you should know that I feel like we need to tell you.
You're not going to phrase it in that particular way, you know.
I'm just simply going to say no.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just answering. Just a lot of several people pinged me on DM, so answering questions. Okay. So yeah, the lieutenant kind of sees for a moment, kind of glances around your group and goes, well, I suppose the good news is that your compatriots are now back among the living, and that since the two of you seem to have given this Shade a run for his money, and by all accounts wounded him quite severely, it seems there may be a little bit of time at least before he attempts anything. I would recommend, however, that moving forward, your group move in a larger contingent. He's and then at this point he kind of is looking over specifically to you, Isal. Perhaps it would be best to keep a closer eye and consider doing things more in a group setting.
Why'd I get looked at? I'm a very big team
Well,
player.
you get the sense that, like, when he appraises you, just your natural prowess, you can tell by the way he looks at you. It's not like a looking down. It's kind of like a respect, like saying he looks at you and it's like, it's kind of like he's saying, I feel like if you were there as a deterrent, this wouldn't happen.
Oh, I thought I was getting fussed at, saying don't
No.
go
No.
saying don't
Caleb
go
will
murder a
lead
bunch
up
of innocent people searching for them, because that's an option.
No.
Well,
Yes, that's a situation where you get the sense that he's saying, look, these two individuals barely failed, and like, you definitely don't want to leave these two alone. But like, maybe together with that group, different outcome. Or even I mean, realistically, if Yandere and Kelmac didn't get the dropped on.
If they were together and not separated,
Well,
party
I'm
of two.
not even saying that.
Groups
It's
of
like,
two,
I'm
everybody.
sure if Yandere knew that that was a shade of prevail, he would have started off that combat very differently.
Banishment.
So, you know, or he would have summoned, T and Callan like right off the bat, or something, right?
Or a celestial. I would have just started
It was
off
like,
that.
oh, right. I summoned the Wild Hunt. Yes, I'm just saying that.
When he starts to talk to me in that way, his first thought was like, "Are you telling me not to go on a murderous rampage?" And then it clears up at the end, like, "Oh, okay, babysitting,
Yeah.
got you." But I
And then
didn't
he
hear
looked
and
to the
know about the other thing. So
Oh yeah. And there's a brief moment where like
there's a look of confusion.
he's looking at you, and he kind of gives you a look like there was a look that went across your face that he didn't like too much, and threw up some like red flags, and then he kind of turns to the rest of your party. Also, I have told your friend here to avoid any sort of vigilantism. Know that in this particular case, the actions of any particular individual will reflect on the entirety of your group. So, perhaps it is best to ensure that no one goes off and does anything on their own, or that could be misconstrued as extra legal.
Yeah, Caleb.
Just as in case, what kind of fine would be attributed to that? Just so we know in advance.
Oh,
Listen, once you're rich enough, laws become just bills.
Just
Precursory.
The guard says no to me, and you're probing for, but how much?
Well, I gotta be prepared so that I can drop the money.
Yeah. So, and the guard kind of gives you a side look, like he knows where you're going with this, and he wants you to know he knows where you're going with this, and doesn't like where you're going with this.
Don't be suspicious.
Especially
Don't be
considering he
suspicious.
saw you just drop $2,000 in
I don't think the
coinage.
guard saw that.
Oh,
He
the
was
lieutenant
with
was
us
there
the
the entire
entire
time.
time.
Oh yeah, right.
Let us out of
The-
sight.
every conversation
bail
you
check.
guys had, he's over in the corner, like making notes, saying,
I threatened to
"Anything you
murder
said."
32 innocent people. Like, he's not just gonna let me walk out of the room.
Yes, but in any case, he goes, well, let me put it to you this way. Until a warrant is issued for this individual's arrest, any harm done to him is considered assault or murder. The latter is life imprisonment or perhaps even execution if you harm the individual enough. The second is execution. So I would say, if that is the route you want to go, I would recommend that you make it legal before you act on any information that you have.
I do have a question as to why there isn't a warrant for this individual's arrest as of yet.
This happened.
Given
Warrant?
This happened 3 hours ago, Caleb. That's why.
Oh, okay,
happened
never mind.
Also,
I
it's
will
like
retract that,
warrant.
realizing it's only been 3 hours.
Yes, also, it's like warrants can only be issued necessarily against a particular individual. So since they don't necessarily know who this guy is, or I don't know, did you guys say his name Bashalon?
Said Alan.
Did you
Oh.
identify him?
I would have.
Okay. In
Bobby
which
had
case he goes, I would wait until a formal warrant is issued.
About how long do those usually take?
Well, Most likely we'll have it by the morning, considering we have, in this case, collected information, and we have first-hand accounts from the victims. Not to mention the 36 or so individuals who saw the actual act take place.
These
So
are
the warrant will likely be issued quickly.
And
these
they
are
might-
going to be considered murder charges, not attempted, correct?
Successful murder.
Well, what I would say is, based on the information we have, the bounty will likely go out dead or alive.
And in matters of self-defense,
If you are attacked, then of course you may use whatever means necessary to defend yourself. But I would also take care not to expand the theater of combat to negligently include innocents.
Lieutenant, we will do everything in our power until the warrant is issued to wholly avoid an outbreak of combat within the city. And we will not execute a witch hunt for this person. And you have my word.
With that, the lieutenant stands. He pauses for a moment. Yandere, you can kind of see the stoic gaze of the professionalism draw back just a little bit. And he kind of goes from guard lieutenant to concerned citizen a little bit, while still trying to keep that air of professionality. He kind of glances over to you and Kelmac and goes, "For what it's worth, I am very happy that you were able to return. And by all accounts, and you forgive me for saying so, the condition of your bodies, it was quite clear that you put up one hell of a fight." Well, yeah. You can let yourself have the moment there. Yes. So, in this, he kind of like looks a little bit more straightly at Kelmac. I truly do believe that had the two of you been any lesser, there most likely would have been a great deal many more dead today. So for that, I thank you. And if there is anything I can do, please let me know. And with that, you see kind of the stoic face come back up. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I will send a messenger around in the morning to update you on the comings and goings of the case. In the meantime, if you do think of anything else, please let me know. And, well, should the bounty come in, normally that would not be posted to the guild per se, but I'll have a copy sent over to the guild and made available to your liaison in case perhaps you'd like to negotiate a private contract.
Thank you very much, sir. And sorry, I'm trying to think of words. And it really helps to have friends and allies who care as deeply as these do.
Yes. Yes, you should count yourself lucky. However, and he's kind of glancing through some of the windows. It's mid-afternoon, and I suspect you will need some rest to recover.
Very much so. So if that's all your questions for now, me and my friend would very much like to retire for the day.
Very well. If we are unable to reach you, if we need to, is there another place or individual we can reach out? Perhaps your liaison has a way of getting in contact with you, or someone else should we require it.
Yeah,
You just gotta let-
Malcherzath with the guild can contact me directly. Um, one of the women who work there can get a hold of me pretty quickly too. I don't expect her to be like around when I'm not around, so
Then we'll contact the guild if we require anything. We'll also keep them apprised as well as having adventurers targeted. Well, it's a bit of a hazard on their side, and quite frankly, they're used to it.
okay, fine. Are we done?
Yes, I have no more questions at this time.
Okay.
And he kind of goes to leave, kind of opens the door, kind of ushers you guys out. Yeah, and you guys can kind of see too, like Yandere and Kelmac, as you guys are issuing out. There's some guards around that are kind of stealing glances. You see a couple of like the newbie guards kind of glance up, and their eyes kind of go wide as you're still covered in blood, and like your armor and stuff is kind of tore up. And
Caleb probably would have cast invisibility again.
As we're like,
oh yeah, okay. Yes, you're right. All right. So
we would
yes,
also tell like the head guy we were talking to, like, no one needs to know that these two are okay.
not yet at least.
And with that, he kind of nods and goes, "Yes, I suppose that may be best for now. As it seems from your friend's account, he specifically targeted your healers. If they learn that your healers are in fact alive, that might press them to move their plans a little further."
All right.
I
So,
appreciate your discretion.
so invisibility and walk back to the house.
Yep.
To sweeten up manner. I will keep an eye out for anyone I see with a lich badge on the way back to the house.
But I will be on the lookout for anybody killing it.
Gray sash, lich badge. Question.
Periodically, I'll be using Eyes of the Grave to see if I can notice if anybody's undead in the presence too.
Okay.
It's not a long walk, but my God help anyone I find on the way.
Yeah. Okay.
It's legal if it's part of the tournament.
That's fair.
As long as you don't kill them. Yes.
Oh, it won't take long. I can use medicine to keep them alive.
And then kill them again.
If they go down in like 3 or 4 hits, they weren't the ones who attacked Kelmag and Yonder.
If they go down and I know it's this person, I'm bringing his ass back.
Oh man, he went down real quick.
Revivify.
You're at 0 hit points, you say? Oh, great.
It's time to shine. Don't count them as hit points for Izal. Count them as investigation points. I can investigate up to 193 hit points worth of people before I'm too tired and I should take a nap. then I can do it again. Legally.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
Do we see anyone, or should we take a break? Or should we take a break? And then
I will
see
say.
somebody?
Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break first.
Okay. Break
So,
time.
I guess we'll see you guys in 15 minutes, and we
Ooh.
can see what you guys are going to end up doing.
You two survived. Congratulations. Break time.
Well, I mean, you didn't survive, but you're back. Got an extra. man, yes, it was horrible.
I didn't
Probably
know there'd
worst
be a
day of
connection
work.
between Barnes and Noble's bathrooms and truck stop bathrooms, but we learned that over the break.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like didn't even bother aiming for the toilet.
Oh,
And
boy.
of course, it was in the men's restroom, and I was the only man on staff that day.
Our
So,
story is exactly the same. They said take as long as you'd like, and then we'll pay you for the rest of the day. Like, all right.
for real, dude, I was like putting on mask and like taking like lemon like pledge shit and shoving it in my mask to try and create some disinfectant scent.
Message from the Black Tower stories. If you've ever cleaned a public restroom, you
Yeah.
can handle
Oh my
anything in
God.
life.
Yes, you will never deal
The step below
the
dead
shit.
body.
Yeah, the shit that you deal with in your life will never be as bad as that shit. Oh God.
I mean,
Okay.
have you cleaned a Walmart bathroom?
No, but I mean,
Have you cleaned an Arby's bathroom?
man.
The floor was not the right color.
Yeah, I'm
There
in a
was
fucking
blood
bookstore.
everywhere.
I'll deal blood. I am fine with blood. It's
Okay. All right. So,
In the women's?
oh God. Normally,
It's-
these conversations when we're coming back from break are kind of like joke conversations. That one, this
These
is
are
unfortunately
horror
way
stories
too
of life.
Horror stories of life. Yeah. It's why I always recommend someone work food service at least a little bit in their life because you learn so much about people working food service and retail. Oh, life experience. Okay, so invisible group, or at least two of your members
2 out of
invisible.
5.
Yep. Head back to Sweet Nut Manor. And at this point in time, it's still kind of like late afternoon. You're probably about an hour, hour and a half ahead of dusk. At this point, you guys haven't really eaten anything at this point in the day. And you know Yandere and Kalmac are fucking famished. Dying has that effect.
I will take my short rest.
Let's go for some tacos.
Yeah. So I assume that evening is kind of like a good order in kind of night.
So, to play back, did we find anyone with a lich gray sash on the way?
Right.
to-
You did on the way back. You spotted a half-orc individual clad in heavy plate mail with a massive axe stained with blood. Kind of not in the Colosseum area. He's kind of more towards the Commons. Just kind of sitting off to the side, having a conversation with what looks to be an adventuring buddy of his. Just shooting the shit. Though it looks like he was probably participating throughout the day. Because you can see like a couple other kind of sashes kind of stuffed into a side bag.
I would like to point over to them from like Caleb and the rest of the party, even though some of them are invisible. Like, I need to go talk to that person.
All right. And I was also looking for somebody looking for a party. That could be a voice thing. Just as a thought.
Yeah, you don't really spot anyone, but yeah. So you're going to approach the half orc.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey.
You're kind of coming in the conversation. The kind of halfling fella, he's having a conversation. So what did you do? He goes, "Oh, that was the great part. I just got." He's kind of looking up as you walk up. Pardon me, madam. Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, I just noticed your sash there. I don't have any of my stuff on me, so this is kind of awkward. But I'm, oh shit, which color am I? I don't keep it on me. I don't remember, but I noticed that you're a gray band for the Lich crew.
Yeah.
I'm also in the tournament. Not kind of participating right now. Had a whole kerfuffle this morning, but just wanted.
Yeah, I heard about that. Something going on down the Coliseum.
Oh yeah, I wanted to rush there as quickly as can to get eyes on it. Any type of disturbance on the tournament, I wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah, from what I understand, someone took the tournament a bit too far.
Yeah, they were wearing.
You get a couple of them every year, but hopefully the god will take care of it.
Just wanted to make sure, because rumor has it that they were wearing the Grey Lich band, and there's only so many of those out here. So, in case anyone wants to start turning a violent eye towards people because they think they're affiliated, not knowing who's who. Is this your friend of yours? And I point to the person he was talking to.
Oh, the halfling gentleman? Yeah, the half-orc's kind of looking. And goes,
Hey,
yeah, you seen him kind of tense, like, this guy's got some battle sense, and so he's kind of reading the little bit of tension.
I
Kind of
am
between you.
not covering up basically what I'm insinuating. It's like, I assume that you were involved, and I'm mentioning your sash entirely. Well, I'm saying, like, kind of throwing it like, oh, yeah, just in case, but my body mentions and everything is like, I think you were involved in it because you had this sash on it, and I cannot hide the emotion of, like, I want to fight you at this moment. But I don't have my sash on me because I left the house without it. So I can't fight you.
Being he's all in their confrontation, as I'm a little bit further back, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts, and I'm going to surface level thoughts probe into this individual's.
Caleb, just let you know, you're concentrating on invisibility.
Never mind. Caleb would be smarter than that.
Just thought I'd let you remind you on that one. So, like, I am approaching and talking lightly, but all of my body language screams,
Yeah, you're,
I want to fight
you're
this
speaking
person.
softly, but carrying a big stick.
Like, this is a friend of yours, right? That's great. Do you know, like, what you guys were doing the last 3 hours or so? 4 hours? I see a nice axe you have.
Yes, that happens. The halfling just goes, "Oh, what fucking?" And then the half orc just kind of reaches out.
it's fine now, Irvin.
And you see him kind of turn over a little bit to you. He goes,
I see. So it looks like it was some of your compatriots that were probably injured then. Friend, I'm sorry, but you understand these badges are given out by lottery. We don't get to pick the group we're a part of.
I know there's about 30 of them that are wearing that badge, though, so if I see someone who has it, I'm going to start questioning them. I got a lot of pent-up aggression right now, and I do have the feeling that you're not the person I'm looking for. If I had my badge on me right now, I'd fight you anyway. But since I don't, it's not a legal fight. If you see anyone who's suspicious, has a badge that matches yours, if someone says a rumor about someone who has weapons that can transform, let me know if you ever see me.
he kind of is looking at you and going,
See something, say something.
Right. Because next time I see you, I might have my badge on me.
Well, assuming you're not one of the badges I've already collected, then I probably wouldn't mind standing in to help you work some things out. I just wouldn't want you making your the same mistake by taking the fight too far.
Eh, let's just say it wasn't a fight too far, it's more of a grudge.
All right.
And does he have his?
Well-
He has the sashes on his side, is what you said. Does he have a griffin?
Yeah, he does he
Red
have
sash
a
with
griffin?
gold.
You don't see a griffin, as far as you can tell.
If this
I'm
was a
looking.
different circumstance, I would hope you'd look for a red and gold sash with a griffin on it, because that's what I'm looking. What I am.
All right. Well, I'd say I'll keep that open. If you're around this part of town this time tomorrow, and you still need someone to, and he kind of taps his axe a little bit, talk to, then I wouldn't mind listening.
Great. Just keep an eye out for the other people of your color
Yeah, and having this-
sash.
Yeah, the halfling guys go, hey, Grim, are you really gonna seriously fight? She looks like she's about to fucking kill you. And the half-orc Grim goes, Irvin, you don't understand. When you live your life by combat, sometimes there's just only one way to deal with the trauma, you know?
I'm Izalzella.
Well, can't say that I'm familiar with the surname, but
Kind of reaches out,
Grim Ironhide.
kind of reaches out to shake your hand.
I reach out. I was expecting this to be the reaction and interaction I had from the first person I saw with that sash.
As I said, it's a bit of a lottery. I'm sure there's a lot of bright, nasty cunts that wear the griffin, too.
No, I'm not surprised in your reaction. I'm more surprised in the fact that in myself. Hope to see you tomorrow, assuming you've got a plethora of badges on you.
It was a productive day. I plan on getting absolutely hammered tonight, so might be a bit of a late start tomorrow.
Good luck. I grit my teeth and I turn and wave as I'm like, see you
For
tomorrow.
what it's worth, I hope you find them.
Mm-hmm.
Even better if it's a back alley somewhere.
I want it to be
I'll walk up
legal
to his
with
doll
an
now
audience.
Tap her shoulder and say, "It's time to go."
Yeah, I need my badge.
Listen, you dumb hoe. It is time to get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Thank you. And as we start walking away, I'm going to kind of look around and say, no more shenanigans. Let's get back to the house.
I walk by. I will still keep an eye out for more sashes, knowing that I'm not allowed to stop for them. But I'm gonna keep an eye out and try to match colors with people I see.
Look, don't touch.
I probably am not giving off the image of someone that you would want to start a conversation with anyway. So
Yeah, got a resting bitch face. Resting barbarian face.
murder.
Resting rage face.
You made it there.
So, you guys make it back to Sweet Nut Manor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we get inside the house, close the door, lock it.
I drop invisibility as soon as we are closed.
Accidentally lock Kelmac outside. Like, damn it, that get back inside.
You open the door.
Invisibility, there's a bloody.
Kelnac's
Oh,
dead on the
Ah,
ground.
damn.
It's like, oh my god, he's already been killed.
He got hit by a random rock fell on him. They had a short rest.
They
He's
both
good.
have 1 hit point, right?
Yeah, they had their short rest. They're good. Kind of.
All right.
We should probably go somewhere else. It may not be safe here.
I mean, for several reasons, we've got like a Fae thing after us, and now we've got a Shadow thing after us, and
Do we still owe something to that devil? I can't even remember.
no, we're pretty good. Where the hell is our? Where the fuck is Gorback at?
Didn't he leave? He said he had stuff to do.
No,
Oh,
he was
right.
supposed to teleport with you guys, but you guys got to Winter and he wasn't there.
Yeah, that's why Zal just said it, because she forgot everything. Yeah, he decided he had other things to do. So, we never actually did follow us.
Pretty sure I specifically said that Gorback's not allowed to just abandon us again.
When has he ever listened?
That is
Yes,
a
sir.
very keen point.
Where are we going to rest?
I would say the safest place.
Would that be your father's again?
We could go back to my father's, but we have a sanctum that not very many people know about. We could go to either one.
Maybe we should go there first and not wear out the welcome with Pops.
Does he not like us?
Oh, he likes us. It's just
I have no idea.
we are draining on everybody around us. So best not to overstay a welcome. So, let's go to the sanctum. Rest for the night. And tomorrow we'll figure out what we do. Because this individual needs to be stopped.
I can't go.
Boy,
Because Frigga's here.
okay.
And she'd have to go with us then. Because I'm not leaving her here. Knowing that they know who you two were immediately. So if they know who I am, they know anyone I met.
Well, Zal has a point.
I am okay taking her, but that would be uprooting her from her life here for a temporary basis.
Well,
But
I can go talk with her, but she's kind of busy right now.
also, given what we know of this individual, I don't think they're going to do anything to us today. Because from all reports, I'm not with a hurt on. I don't know what type of preparation they had. So I don't know if they had enough potions to get back to normal.
Kelmac, if I punched you in the face right now, would you fall unconscious?
Just like bending, testing how like I'm feeling. Just like no, but he would.
Who would?
The shade. He was on his last leg.
Which means if he's looking for some kind of advantage, he's going to want to get us to a point where we're desperate. And I'm as strong as they come, but if you get me in my sleep, that puts you at an advantage. And you two both look kind of better now. I could only assume that the old Bozo, whatever his name was, feels a little better now too. It's been several hours.
Well, then, do we just stay here?
He talked about getting us alone. I don't think he will do anything while we're together, but I do share your worries, Izal, that your lady will possibly be in danger.
What about Volred's family?
Well, at this point, they're on their own.
They aren't
Sorry.
here, though, right?
They're not here.
No.
Yeah. Or I'm just.
Yeah, they're. Last time you guys knew, they were still chilling with Master Falorian or Falarion, and while they searched for a house either in town or in nearby areas.
Well, I thought
That was-
they
that
That
found
was a
another
week or so
place.
ago, though. So it's been a while.
Yeah, because you guys sent them over to Master Falarion's to be safe. And then they were like, oh yeah, we're going to find a place. Volred shoved a whole bunch of money in their hands. And you guys haven't actually got an update since then.
If your goal is to fight someone away from the rest of them, you have to have a way of drawing them out. Family and connections are the best way to do that. I don't know how much you care about your family, Volred, but that's where I would go to try to get you out.
I mean, it's a catch-22 for all of us. The thing I'm concerned about most right now is making sure these two get rested and get back to full capacity.
How about we go as a group? I need to talk to Frigga. I'm sure she'll be fine with going with us. And I tell her all kinds of things. She kind of already knows about some shit. I just don't want her. Not that, Calmac, don't look at. I didn't say anything about the sanctum, but I said we have ways of keeping safe. I wouldn't tell him directly. That would be.
Regardless, if she teleports with us, she won't know where it is. She'll just know that we has it.
If anything happens to her,
I say let's take her.
I'm gonna have issues. Okay. Who wants to come with me? We need at least 3. Have we groups of 3 and 2, or all 5?
I will go with you.
That's Volred, Yandre, and Kelmac by themselves, though.
Well, don't you and Red have a way of speaking to each other?
Yeah.
And if something happens, me and you can teleport back.
Let me try to write her and see if she can respond first, and then I'll go over there. I mean, I could I could probably go by myself, but that's not safe.
Can we not send a communication?
I mean, Caleb could probably use sending, but I can text her. I pull out my tome.
Text.
Yeah, I pull out my
Open it up.
notebook and I start writing.
You see a lot of messages, missed messages from her,
Oh, Jesus.
going,
Oh shit!
yeah, "Oh my God, babe, are you okay? I haven't heard anything from you. Why aren't you responding?" She's kind of spiraling. Some spiraling occurred,
Give me a moment.
and you recall about death, and then you
And I ran
rushing
away.
out of there, about your party being attacked, and silence for several hours.
Yeah, I'm great at relationships, as you can plainly see. I write to her. Things didn't go well. We're okay. I'm gonna come see you. Are you still at work, or did you go home? Don't think it's safe if we're away from each other.
Yep, tell you taking a late shift at work because it seems like the guards are letting the guild know, and Maldrazath is willing to update her anytime he learns anything. So basically, she is refusing to leave work until she heard from you.
I've gotta go. Who wants to go with me? Caleb?
Volred, will you please go with these all?
Well, I can give like Caleb and Yandre my sending stone that goes to Volred. They're not like tattooed on me.
Well, here's the thing. You've already used yours once.
To Volred? Yeah, I used it to Volred. Volred has
So-
to be able to use it to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can switch it. That's fine. But we just got to make sure that we are paying attention to that.
Well, Yandre and Caleb can both use sending. Volred can use their sending stone to contact my sending stone. So I will use my sending stone and give it to, I don't know, one of you three want to hold on to this?
I'll hold on to it.
Okay.
And yeah, be careful.
I put on my sash.
Just in case.
I don't know if
It's
now is the best time
it's
to.
legal now.
The murder's not legal.
The
I'm gonna
fight.
go over to Caleb
The
and
fight.
just whisper, "Keep her away from fighting."
And he's all. I did tell the lieutenant that there would not be a witch hunt. We're fine now. I understand that you're upset at what happened. But
I will state that out loud to all of
Please.
you. My goal is not to fight anyone on the way there. But when we get to the sanctum, I am going to break so much fucking shit there. Because I need to hit something. And whether that's an inanimate object or some stress relief, I don't care. So who's going with me? Because I'm about to leave.
Volred, will you please go with her? We three will be fine here. And if he does decide to rear his ugly head, you two are sure to take care of him easily.
So, Caleb, are you okay with that? Because you said that you would go first.
Yes, I am okay with this.
So I'm going.
Yes.
So how do we contact someone?
You can use your
He's
sending
all-
stone to contact Caleb.
Yes, Izal gave me her sending stuff.
Oh, I was not paying attention.
Because last session I used my sending stone to contact you. There's still a message that can be sent from you to me.
OOC, is that a one-time thing, or is that just
Once
like it
per
has
day.
to go?
once per day from
They can
each
both
stone.
send a message, and then they can both
To
have
the
a
other.
reply. So it's 4
Yeah.
messages
Izal's
back and forth.
so Izal's already sent her message to you today, but you can still send one, or I guess now to Caleb.
Got it. Okay. Well, then I will go. All right, Izal, let's go.
Yay! I will be
So-
laser focused forward, only occasionally looking for sashes. But I will not fight anyone, but I'm going to be marking people with colors and faces.
What season
Yeah.
is it?
It's murder season.
Season? It's the second seed, so summer.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are approaching the midsummer tourney, or the midsummer tourney, which happens like midsummer. So, and there's also like harvest festival and all that stuff that kind of starts happening along that time too. A lot of festivals this time of year. But yeah, you guys depart the Emberhaven Enclave, head towards the Wyvern Square, past the Daring Dragon, and towards the Adventurers Guild. The atmosphere is loud. There's a lot of adventurers on the street. This time of day, the taverns and restaurants you guys can see are absolutely packed. And it looks like the marketplace in the square is only just now kind of starting to wind down with a lack of light. You watch as young kind of apprentice mages, kind of shepherded by a more senior mage, are kind of going around the place casting light spells on the different torches and such to kind of bring the evening lights popping up. You also notice there appears to be more guards on duty than usual. Some of the actual guard for the Adventurers Guild, as well as some other actual adventurers who seem to be posted out, keeping an eye out, perhaps picking up some kind of guard duty quest. Um, the whole area feels the jovial atmosphere, but a high alert underneath the den. As you make your way into the central courtyard of the castle that is the Adventurers Guild, make your way inside. You see Frigga in the process of filling out some paperwork for someone, stamping. Um, Her eyes kind of glance over to you and Volred as you make your way in. You see her visibly kind of exhale, and then you see her kind of hasten to finish the paperwork and then kind of slide it over. And then she kind of quickly turns her back to appear busy. You assume to prevent anyone from trying to make herself appear unavailable.
I'll just say to Izal. All right. Go get her, Tiger.
Alright. I will walk over to the counter, go around the side area. Like, Frigga.
Frigga just kind of shuffles some paper off to the side, makes her way over, kind of looking at you hastily. Rush takes a bit to kind of glance around, being aware of the public kind of atmosphere and Volred, and then just kind of leans down, going, "Where were you when you left so suddenly? Are you okay?"
I'm good. I'm chock full energy right now. Yeah.
Are you quite certain?
Mm-hmm.
She's looking over. You look like you are agitated.
Yep, that's an accurate description. Whispering was like, the two people were killed, I'm sure you heard, where it was Yandere and Kelmac, and they're back, they're good. The Kelmac put up a hell of a fight, really put a number on the guy, but he got away. And I really want to go kill him, but I've been told that's not a good idea, so I have a lot of pent-up aggression right now. Also, I kind of can't let you stay in the city. Sorry.
She's kind of that's him. Do you think I am in danger?
This guy apparently doesn't want to fight any of us in a group. And I'm kind of the only one with an attachment that'll get me out of a group. I gesture back to Laura, and it's like,
And then she's like looking back to Vorad. So your solution to that was to break away from your group, to travel through town, to visit your attachment?
yeah, I make terrible decisions when I'm really pumped up in aggression. But we've got
Yes,
communication plans.
honey. Dear, I think you should probably take some time away from this. I should let you know that the guild has already put out an unofficial bounty on the individuals, and a number of our more senior level adventuring parties have already taken it up. They're combing the city discreetly to find any trace that they can.
How many are keeping an eye after you?
Well, while I'm with the guild, I think I am safe. But if we must go, then to where and for how long?
Kelmac and Yandere need to rest. They're really feeling it from the situations. They just need some time, and if you're here and I'm not here, then I'm not going to be able to get any type of sleep from it. Just over the night, we can come back tomorrow. I just can't have you here. If I can't, I don't know where you're at. I know it's selfish. I leave all the time, and you never know where I freaking go. And there's no telling how long I'm gone for.
This means that much to you.
Yeah, if we go and something happens to you, then the things won't be the same for more than one way, and I'm going to make a lot of bad decisions.
Alright, well, let me notify the chief clerk, and then I will go, and I'm off tomorrow, but that'll at least give us time to discuss.
I'll wait.
And she departs, and then about 15, 20 minutes later, she comes back with a satchel filled with stuff, ready to depart with you.
Great. Let's go.
Caleb,
Yes.
your time at home passes blissfully. um, with silence reigning in the house. Maylor helps by kind of wandering the periphery and checking in on Kelmac and Yandere from times, just kind of sliding his head through their bedroom, walls or doors, and then popping back out.
Keep it effective.
Yes, your adrenaline spikes briefly as Izal returns back to Sweet Nut Manor. But yes, that is pretty much it.
All right. I'll look over at everybody. after I get Yandere and Telmac back up. Are you guys ready?
Oh, Frigga, we're going to our sanctum.
She's kind
And
of okay.
It's a secret place. When we go and we're not here, basically that's it.
Okay.
and Caleb will set up the teleportation circle.
Okay.
And then we'll teleport
How long does
to
it
our
take
sanctum.
to do teleportation circle?
10 minutes.
Alright, while you're doing that, I will. I will use. I will communicate with Aranthier and see if Aranthier can communicate with Frigga, just to see how she responds, like in her head. I was getting her here. I was very like adrenaline, like for safety. But once we're here, head kind of clears for a second, and like, I should make sure this is Frigga, and I'm not about to just go in and invite someone there. So just that split second, like, hey, Ranther, can you just?
Oh,
Kinda...
come on. I make one goblin.
And it's she brought Frigga all the way there, all the way back, had all this conversation, was ready to go, but there's a moment of preparation, of calming. She's like,
That little Milton.
just
Milton
to
voice.
be sure, Kel, you're right there. Can you just kind of chat with Frigga in her head, saying, hey, this is enchanted sword, just kind of seeing how you feel about the situation and see what the mental state coming back is, if there's anything. Because if it's not Frigga, I want to know.
Okay. You can watch this out of nowhere. Frigga suddenly like jolts. It's like looking around. Her eyes kind of go on you and kind of notices your, kind of knowing stare. And you see like her eyes are going back, trying to like comprehend. And
She's proven me wrong many times, and this is another one of those situations.
Yep. And it seems as though they kind of settle into some kind of conversation. And then Aranthier kind of slides in.
Slides in her DMs.
Slide.
Yes, it slides into her DMs.
Hey, you two, break it up.
And then Aranthier kind of slides back in your mind. Well, from what I can tell, she definitely seems to be who she is, or at least her inner monologue seems to match her outer one. I can tell that she's definitely a bit skeptical. Seems as though she's learning an awful lot about you in a very short period of time.
Look, I tried to tell her as much as I can without saying, hey, we're international criminals sometimes, and we travel to different dimensions. It's very confusing. I know she's a former adventurer, but this isn't on a 3-way call, is it? This is like the 2-way version?
No, I can only do telepathy with one individual at a time.
Alright. We'll talk about it when we go over. I was skeptical for a second. Didn't want a whole Gorbeck demon thing happen suddenly. So I just tell Frigga, like, sorry, I just want to make sure. And I feel stupid. All that happened while Caleb was doing his spell.
Yeah, it's just kind of sitting here going. So, just out of curiosity, when you've been over at my house and we've been having conversations, that sword is aware of everything we've been saying and has been watching us?
I've only had Arantha for a little while. So I'm not entirely sure. This is a good conversation we should have with the sword, because I don't really know what Aranthir is.
Yeah,
or
and of course,
senses.
everyone heard that conversation. It's like Caleb's sitting there drawing sigils, and you just see like the chalk slide off to one section. Be like,
Focus, Caleb.
uh,
Rub it
okay,
out.
erase.
Don't say rub it out, Caleb.
I said rub. Stop.
Yeah. Yes, and Frigga's looking at you like, all right, okay.
We're going to have a great conversation here in about 12 minutes. I have a lot of questions I have to answer in a defensive house.
I was always looking for a fight after all.
I have
It's always gonna get a fight, just not the one is all wanted.
I'm not going to have a very good night. Or I will. Who knows?
Eventually.
Could go many ways. I will have plenty of adrenaline going.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is it's like your sanctum only has one bedroom.
It's got different dimensions and shit, though. No one sleeps in the bedroom area. They all sleep in their weird sections.
Yeah.
Libraries and shit.
I sleep in
There's
fire.
There's like that main like throne chair there, right?
There's a throne room.
Yeah.
Then there's
That's
like
where
a barracks.
Volred sleeps.
Well, no, it's funny because that probably means it's like Volred's probably the only one that uses the room because it's quite well appointed. So he might be like, all right, that's more like it.
This is where
He's the only one that goes in there. So he's like, this is my room. And it works out because that's where the servitors, the childlike servitors are. So they're just like constantly bringing him food or drink any time of day.
Yep.
So he can live his inner Volred.
Like, I'm gonna have to answer a lot of questions. I might as well do it like all the questions all at once in an area where I don't have to worry about being scried on.
Yeah. But yes, so the teleportation circle completes. You guys and then step out into the astral observatory. Frigga freaks out initially, looking down and realizing that there doesn't appear to actually be a floor here, but seems to catch wind of the way this place kind of functions. And so this is an interesting sanctum.
We fought. No, we didn't fight the wizard.
A dragon.
We fought a dragon here. Yeah. The dragon on the
It almost
thing
killed
that
me.
was here.
We won.
Oh yeah, Kalmac did a
We
great
did,
job.
Caleb turned me into a giant gorilla.
The details were kind of fuzzy on the documents, I know, but I just figured Ixnay on the magic sanctum thing would probably be the best for security.
So
You're
we
muted.
don't.
Muted.
Damn it. You guys exit the astral observatory, kind of having to feel around for the door again because it's just exists in some kind of
Jiggle that
negative
invisible
space.
handle.
Yeah. And then you guys kind of step out, and by the time you guys kind of reach the throne room, Frigga has to kind of stop and go, Izal, this place is... So this is basically your home?
I consider Sweetnut Manor the home. This is like the safe room that's bigger than the actual home.
Just kind of
It's
looking
a
around going,
vacation home.
babe, to be honest, your Sweet Nut Manor sounds more like a post office box that you can sleep in.
It's kind of where we have our mail go to, so that is a good description of what it is.
She's kind of looking around going,
Actually, that's kind of my. I feel it as a
You just
home.
found out you're rich.
I sleep there a
yeah,
lot.
because basically it's like, oh yeah, and then showed up was like, oh my god, this is the little house that
You've
you
only
rent
met
when you're
you've
going
only
to
been in the
college.
sunroom, and then you go to the rest of the house. Like, oh,
Yeah, we're still
Yeah,
There's still
and
more
granted,
amazement.
she's been in the portrait gallery, the Astral Observatory, and the throne room. She hasn't seen any of the other rooms at this point.
Those aren't even the cool ones.
Yonder is just gonna immediately walk towards the grove.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna go in there.
Step through the painting. Her brain kind of visibly breaks.
Kelmac's actually gonna kind of stay behind at the observatory.
Okay.
So this is the sanctum. It was made by a wizard. I forgot their name. Kalen probably knows it.
I don't know, Caleb. Do you remember the name?
Killed a wizard. No, we didn't kill a wizard.
I
Killed
mean-
a dragon.
I've only said it a whole bunch of times.
I do not remember.
Scroll up on your notes, everybody.
Alaris was his name.
There we go.
Thulred, you're muted.
Oh no, I'm okay.
Okay.
So there's a moment where this kind of sits here and Trigger goes, Alaris? As in Alaris, the realm seer?
Mm-hmm. Caleb, is that their name?
Yes, you are correct. Are you a fan of his?
Tell us about. Well, I wouldn't exactly say a fan, but he's quite a famous conjurer from centuries ago.
Oh, yes. Fantastic.
He's kind of looking around. So this is his workshop.
Well, it's kind of ours now.
Yeah, I think the deed's been transferred.
Work in
over.
progress. They haven't officially let us have it yet, but we're working on it.
That's the grove that Yandere went into. There's a molten thing with some Azer elementals. They're like a forge people. They're real hard to convince on things. There's a throne one. That's where we fought the dragon. There's the
Which
library.
is the throne room you guys are standing in now, yeah.
I'm just listening. There's the library. They got all kinds of books for all kinds of stuff. Gander usually is sleeping over there. And the observatory, which we came through, right? We came through the observatory. Yeah, that's got a cool trick.
There's one other chamber. Do you remember the name of it?
I don't want to go with my notes.
Like, ask or something.
No, the Astral Observatory is where you guys come in.
Okay, that's what it was.
Throne, Fae, Fire.
It's the one where you see the copy.
The what?
It's the one where you can speak to different
The
people. that
time
gone into
chamber? I thought that was the Astral Observatory.
No, the Timeless Chamber is different than the Astral
Oh.
Observatory.
That is a time thingy where you can look through history or something.
Close enough.
I used it one time. That's pretty fun. But I bet you have a lot of questions, so
I'm going to push these all towards the bedroom. Go that way.
It's towards that way. The childlike servitors kind of appear. Oh, hello, guests. Do you need some food? It's dinner time. And Frigga's like, what the fuck are these children?
They came with the sanctum. Unless you see one with spectacles with like multiple lenses and overalls. That's Gander. You met him briefly. I haven't seen him in a while. He's real, so don't like hit him.
Okay. So, you obviously kind of set Frigga aside and start hashing some things out.
A lot of questions to answer
Yes. What are the rest of you guys doing?
So I'll be in the grove, just resting. This place is the closest thing to the Feywild that I'm going to get here in the Prime. So any opportunity that I have to kind of soak in that environment, I'm going to do so. Um, and I would ask if they would be able to change part of the grove to kind of resemble some autumn feel. I know that there's not a lot that they do in general, but like at least change the colors of some of the trees to be like a more auburn, um, just so that way Yandre feels a little more at home.
Yeah, you can talk to the Green Warden, the Dryad that controls the grove, and with some conversation, she agrees to some moderation, but states that it can't be that she refuses to let it be permanent, as she's more of a spring. Um, but does agree to alter it a little bit to make it more comfortable.
Question. Remind me, that time chamber, is it only allow you to review a moment of time from your life, or like at any point of like the universe?
No, the Timeless Chamber. Anyone who actually uses the chamber gets a copy of them downloaded essentially to the chamber that gets updated each time you use the chamber. So it's like a mental backup, and it allows you to go and query your past self or other individuals in the chamber. So,
Okay.
for example, you could go in there and talk to a backed up version of Caleb that had all of his knowledge at the time he used the chamber and just talk with him.
Does it override if I were to? Because I did that once.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm remembering this wrong, I thought I did that and I went to look at the circumstances of when I was initially attacked.
Ah, yes. You particularly used the chamber to try and access some of your memories.
Correct. So if I go and like make a copy again, does that override the last one and I lose out, or is it like another version? Does it matter?
Well, technically speaking, it creates a separate version because and this was all explained a long time ago when Kalen was talking to Alaris. But basically, the way Alaris wanted it was so that he could have conversations with himself at different stages of their life to get different perspectives on things. So it is intended to have different versions of yourself.
I did
talk
talk
to your
to
19-year-old
two different
self,
ones.
and then like your 30-year-old self.
Because I did talk to two different ones. So,
Yeah.
from what I remember, so you can talk to multiple different selves and it'll be separate.
Yes, but I mean, normally though, when you summon up a personality, it usually just returns the most recent one, unless you want to go multi AI mode.
Okay, well, that answers my question. I don't think I have a use for that right now, at least of what I wanted.
Okay. But what were you trying to do?
Well, I couldn't remember if it was just myself or if it was the ability to like look at any moment in time. But I think that was back when we were in that library, because I was going to attempt to essentially find out if I can see like what happened to my father when he died, to try
Mm,
to get some more information like on the shades.
mm.
But I don't think that's applicable in this
Yeah,
application.
from what you understand, that you wouldn't be able to do that.
Correct. Yeah. So therefore, I'm gonna go sit on my throne and order around the little helpers to fetch me various caviar and whatever accoutrements.
Yeah, and I mean they're able to bring you more or less most anything that you want.
Good.
So, what about
Caleb,
you, Kelmac? What you doing?
Uh, I never really got the instruction manual on how to work the observatory. But it is used to observe other planes, right?
It's an orrery, so the purpose of it is for you to be able to see how all the planes in the cosmos are lining up at that particular time. It's meant to help make planar travel easier.
Oh, okay.
So that way, like, if you were going to say, like, the Feywild, you could check the astral observatory to see how the prime material and the Feywild are in sync, to figure out the best times and ways to travel different places. It's kind of like having a planar atlas.
Is there? There's no assistant, right? Because Alaris was learned, and he just like knew the stuff he knew.
Yeah, essentially, you have some control over it with like a Jarvis situation, except that it doesn't speak back to you, but it can handle some commands.
Uh, I want to see how
Where the people are.
um I want to see how
Words coming.
the Beastlands are, like, where they line up with everything at this moment.
Okay. Um, so it takes a little bit of time. You have to kind of work it a little bit
No,
and
no,
ask
no,
it
no,
some
no, no,
questions.
not that Beastlands, the other one.
Yeah. But with a little bit of work, you can see in the cosmology the plane of existence that is the Beastlands. Um, as the plane, which, from what you can tell, is one of the outer planes.
Um, I'm sure you don't have this information immediately available and would be more on the fly stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, what is it lining up with? Like, is it crossing with something? Is it like edging onto the material plane? Like,
Yeah,
what's it
so
what's it
the
doing?
outer planes essentially morph around the prime material. So generally speaking, the outer planes here are always equally accessible at all times because they're all anchored to the prime material, unlike, say, the Fey realm. Um, but in terms of the Beastlands, you know that it is more like chaotically good aligned from what you can tell. It lies near Elysium and Arborea and stands in direct opposition to the Grey Wastes of Hades, Gehenna, and the Nine Hells of Baator.
Okay, but I couldn't discern where I would be able to find a connection point between the two
Uh,
from this.
no,
Like, it wouldn't be able to identify a nexus point of where the planes are, where the veil thins.
okay. No, you can just kind of see where they kind of are in relation to one another. Um, but I mean, you could always try and do more research on that. Is the planes and the cosmology is an entire area of study all to itself.
Uh, okay, so yeah, this is a different observatory than like I was assuming because I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Because at the time I was like playing stuff, whatever. I thought it was more telescope able to see like out into the uh nether to be able to observe the planes and see like and just observe them.
Uh, no, not really. I mean, you
Okay.
can zoom in a little bit, but you can't like peer into another plane of existence. Like I said, this is here to help facilitate travel, not as like a long distance telescope.
Okay. Then I'll try to find the door and go to the library.
Okay. Alrighty then. So your evenings pass without much really there. I guess you guys are just kind of piddle farting around. Is there anything you guys wanted to do before you guys attempt a long rest?
Okay. I want to find with the help of the little library bots.
Okay.
If they can find me records of the Beastlands and uh, locating nexuses for the different planes.
Okay. So you're gonna ask them to do that. Okay. Uh, all right. And just kind of sitting here, are you guys going to be waiting the 4 or 5 days for Kelmac and Yandre to completely recover? Or is there something else you guys were looking to do?
I mean, Yandre's going to be attempting to get as much rest as possible, but if people are deciding they're going to go, Yandere doesn't want to leave the group by themselves. So, meaning if it's all decides she wants to leave and try to go hunt for people, then Yandere will go. It just depends on whenever she does it.
I've been told to not mass murder people. But Frigga has to work tomorrow. Or she has tomorrow off. So I'd like at least one day we can chill out here. Then the next day she probably has to work, so we should go back. But like
Sorry, go ahead.
It's like I'm going to be if we go back and like we all have to chill there, I will be at the Adventurers Guild with Frigga. So like I will not be actively fighting things necessarily because I will be on my best behavior. Unless someone challenges me and then I have to kill them. I mean, if they're the Shade, I will kill them.
I would like to ask for a day, the Frigga's day off, because also the lieutenant said that the warrant and bounty would be more than likely posted the next day. But also, I want to do a little research, which is weird.
On the material plane or here?
Here.
Okay. That's the other thing I was thinking of.
So it sounds like we're at least taking one full day at
The same.
Sanctum.
Okay. All right. In which case, it's probably best if we go ahead and just break here for tonight, and then we can figure any kind of downtimey related stuff off screen, and then come back in media res next week.
I did have a question. Did Yandere bring the head of the doodad with him?
I would have because that was the intention of bringing it eventually, to keep it away from being in just the prime material. So yes.
All right.
Man, aren't you glad he didn't break into your house while you were gone and steal them?
That'd be hilarious.
That would have been a witch
The
hunt. through
fucking
the street.
Dark Hunt goes and fights the Shade of Caveo. Like, hey, look, problem solved. Two birds, one stone. Am I right?
No, but I mean, like, he wouldn't have. I mean, he wouldn't have known any of that shit. So worst case, he would have come and was like,
Why is there a
open stuff
severed
up
head in
going.
here?
It's like, these guys are fucking weird.
Catch me up. What's going on?
Caleb was gone the whole time. We decided that
we're gonna go ahead.
the next day we're not going to go travel back to the material plane because Frigga doesn't have to go to work. So everyone's got stuff they want to do that day off. We wanted to clarify that Yandre had brought the severed head of Ceranos with him. That way the Shadic Veil didn't. And then we were joking that Shadic Veil would have like discovered the severed head, and if he had like ransacked the house, it'd be hilarious if he took it and then became the target of the wild hunt. That would have been so funny.
What the fuck is going on?
New game plan, guys. Sick your villains against themselves and let them solve the problem for you. Like, maybe we could be farmers.
These undead hordes keep showing up wherever he teleports to, and he's just like, what is going on?
Son of a bitch. There's so many.
Yeah, but next thing you know, he'd be like, okay, it's definitely this thing, and then like chunk it into the ocean or something, and then you guys wouldn't be able to find it, and then he'd just be pissed all over again at you guys. Could complicate some stuff.
Yeah, but the hunt knows that he had it last, and then they go hunt him down.
True.
So we decided to end it there, Eric?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and end it here because that makes sense since seems things have kind of spinning down a little bit, and we actually have some downtime-ishy type stuff that people wanted to do. So, come back next week, 7 p.m. Central, and we'll make it through chapter
121.
What? Yeah, 121. It's just Caleb was shaking his head vigorously, so I was like, "Wait, are we not? Is there something next week coming?" Okay. This Thursday, no adjacent with Jace,
But
we have Baldur's Gate.
BG3 by BTG, Black Tower Gaming.
BG versus BG3.
As we on session 3, as we attempt to. Oh, we are really bad at this game. Actually, if you ever watched the playthrough of it, as we just trigger every possible fucking trap, and our combat sucks.
Hey.
I don't want to directly
I've
call
done
out
my
Eric,
job.
but I feel like I should.
I mean,
But it's
look,
really fun. Come and watch
the
us this
whole thing
Thursday,
here.
roughly 8 o'clock.
Ari is the one that is supposed to have played this game for a million times. So when Ari tells me to walk through the door or to go talk to someone or do whatever you want to do, I'm just gonna agree.
Okay, so I will have you point out, because I'm not letting you throw my name under the bus. There have been many a times in the first 2 sessions that we've played that I have told you not to do things, and you immediately go do them. So let's leave that up to chance. And if you want to see who's lying here, please come join us on Thursday so you can see that the DM doesn't know what they're talking about. All right.
You can see all the cutscenes that Eric triggers because we watch all 4 screens at the same time, and you can plainly see when he does something he's not supposed to. We'll see you this
I don't know what
Thursday.
you're talking about.
This Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, as we just see how fun it gets with our 3rd iteration of BG3 versus BTG. Or the vice versa. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
good night, everyone.
Some of us.
Some of us. Tater Hosen, Ari, Eric the DM,
Yeah, the
and
moderator.
myself will be here this Thursday. Good night, everyone. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Until
Have
next time,
fun.
good night.